My wife overheard me say, "You don't fall in love with looks, just look at me and my wife." Now she's losing weight and posts pics of her body online. Crap hit the fan with my marriage 6 months ago at a party with friends. My wife and I were both at this party, and after about an hour in, my guy friend and I were talking about love and relationships since he's single. His complaints with love were mostly superficial about how the people he dated looked. I was a bit wasted during the conversation and said something like, "You don't fall in love with looks, just look at me and my wife. I love her more than anything compared to my ex who is just looks." Everyone went silent and my damage control of the situation was much worse. I couldn't get my point across, so I ended up zipping my mouth and staying silent. I thought that maybe these thoughts had been in my head but only came out when I was drinking. My wife was standing next to me when I said what I said about her, and she had a look of complete shock and was hurt the rest of the night. My wife and I have been happily married for 7 years and we have 3 beautiful children together. She is the love of my life. The first week after the party she was so angry and wanted to understand what I meant, but nothing I said was good enough for her. I was just wasted and talking out of my behind. As for me, I find my wife to be the most beautiful woman alive. She thought being wasted made me say my true feelings about her. One morning in bed she just said to me, "You know, I have never felt as ugly as I have felt this past week. I have always thought I was beautiful." She didn't cry this time, but she hasn't been happy since. I started crying and apologizing, but she was emotionless to me. It was the last time she looked at me too. She is very reserved and distant now, but only with me. She has lost a little over 20 pounds and she works out 6 to 7 days a week. She never has free time with me anymore. If she's not with the children or her family and friends, she's immersed in some book or has her headphones on distracting herself. She's always fully clothed now, even in bed. She locks the bathroom door when she takes a shower. She is more active on social media too. She shares many pictures of her and she thanks everyone who gives her a compliment. Before it was just pictures with our children, with me or our pets, but now it's just her showing herself off working out in sports bras and tights. I think I broke her and I don't know how to fix it. Update. We have been going to counseling and my wife at first has been very reluctant to open up and wanted to pretend that everything was fine. One session she just asked me, "I want the truth from you right here and right now. I don't want you to sugarcoat anything and don't try to spare my feelings. Did you find me attractive when we met?" I really didn't know what to say to this. I love her more than anything. Even more than my children and myself. I think that she's the most beautiful woman I know, but did I immediately think that when I met her? Not really. I didn't really find her attractive from the start. We all grew up having a type and I remember thinking that she wasn't exactly my type, but she was so lovable and sweet and that's what I fell for in her. It didn't take me long to fall in love with her, and now I find women who look like her attractive, so I guess having a type is something very superficial and fleeting. So instead of sugarcoating my response to her question like she told me not to do, I told her the truth. She started to bawl in tears. She knew that there were more stereotypical beautiful women than her. And she never wanted to be the most beautiful woman either, but she was always considered beautiful by other people and always got attention. So the fact that the one person she wanted to be found the most beautiful girl in the world by didn't think that about her, that's what made her sad. This was our latest session and it was the most draining experience. Later when we got home she apologized for making a big deal out of something this trivial. A few days later she told me that she didn't want to stay in our marriage. That something broke inside of her. She asked me if I would try to hurt her and the children if we did separate. If I would use them to get back at her. Alienate her because she chose to leave. I promised her that none of this would happen and that I loved her and wanted her to be happy even if it wasn't with me. Our families are in uproar over this, and mostly they're angry with her about the fact that she let her insecurities get the best and worst of her.